David Weiss and Owen Benjamin are two titans of the flat earth world. And recently David interviewed Owen about all sorts of things. But when they spoke about flat earth, it was honestly hilarious. You cannot look away from this one. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Flat Earth Friday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we get underway with this next episode of Flat Earth Friday, I was reading earlier about how the European Space Agency was on its way to an asteroid previously used by NASA in a Save the Earth test. And I was viewing this story on Ground News, which was actually founded by former NASA engineer Harleen Kaur, who actually worked on the James Webb Telescope. Ground News combines stories and articles from thousands of outlets, local and national, in one place so readers can see the full picture of what's going on around the world. As you can see here, Ground News shows you if there's any political leanings for each publication. And in this instance, we can see that it's mostly centre-driven, with 100 total news sources. For every story, you get a quick visual breakdown of the news outlets covering it, their political bias, how factual the source is, which entity owns the source, and which countries are covering the story. You can also click on any of the headlines to read the story from its original source. The best thing is, you can develop a well-rounded worldview, see every side to every story, with access to international perspectives which are hard to find. So then you can make informed decisions where you can read, watch and share the best information available. So go to ground.news/Simon to stay fully informed on breaking news, compare coverage and avoid media bias. Sign up for free or subscribe through my link for 50% off unlimited access if you support the mission and find it as useful as I do. Right, on with today's video, which as I said at the start is an interview of Owen Benjamin from Flat Earth mogul David Weiss. They exchanged pleasantries at the start and quickly moved on to their favourite topic, globe denial. Here we go.
Right, when even on the movies, if you can see the small one right here, when that was the first one they showed, but they showed the plane flying like this. Right, they couldn't possibly show the plane how it actually would be flying if they show it sideways to the Earth, because it would look too stupid the other way.
Yes, because I'm sure in 1927, Universal were thinking how flat earthers would perceive this almost 100 years later. Now that plane was used to wipe in a Universal picture text as it flew across the globe. I doubt that they would be concerned if it was flying around the Earth correctly.
But either way, either way, it's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, way before they ever went to space, they still had the same model. Yeah, I mean, that was a big spell break, like the Universal Pictures. Yeah. Because it's like the spells that work the best are the ones you don't even know are spells. It's just that repetition of the thing you don't even think about. You could think about all the programming in movies, but what's the thing before all of the movies? You know, and it's that same image.
The globe is there to symbolise Universal's global reach and influence, not to affirm the shape of our planet subliminally. Oh, and by the way, the globe was understood to be correct long before that logo. The first globe ever was made 500 years earlier.
It's amazing how every movie has globes in the background, and you know, there's people. What that does is it's just subliminal. I mean, but there's globes everywhere. It's wild.
Obviously, every movie does not contain a globe, unless it means production company, but still, not every single one of them contains a globe in their logo either. What is wild is that statement, Dave.
But
why do people love them so much? Like I debated that one guy, I called him Turtle Shelley or Pastor Shelley. Did you see that one with Witsit and me?
I'm
Pastor
sure.
Shelley.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah. I saw it. That was a while ago.
When I had the ad Hamahorn.
Yeah, that was so good.
They get so mad. You know, like what is that? What do you think the psychology is around the globe?
This should be interesting.
I'll tell you what it is, because when you discover the globe, and it did it for me, Owen. I came to realize my relationship with the Creator through Flat Earth. Right? I was, you cannot be an atheist or an agnostic on a flat Earth. On a globe, you have a choice. Hey, God did the Big Bang. He did this. You can believe whatever you want and believe in God. But on a flat Earth, there's only one choice. There's a Creator, and you're at the center of creation. And then everything changes for that point. So I think that they know that if everyone wakes up to the globe, the devil or evil is dead. It's gone.
So what you're saying then, David, is that if you are indeed incorrect about a creator, you are wrong about the shape of the earth. They have to come together in your view. That is not a good stance to take, I don't think.
And so I think that, a lot of these globe trolls out there, these anti-flat earthers, I literally think they're demon possessed, I always say paid or possessed. It's the same thing.
Possessed? Oh, well, that's not a very nice thing to say, is it? I mean, I don't think I'm possessed. I guess you would have to believe in possession in the first place to be possessed.
Right? Whether, if they're paid and they're agreeing to it, then they're possessed. They have some evil streak in them. But I literally think that it is a demonic thing that's going on.
Yeah, I always hear like you're trying to ruin the rest of the conspiracies for us. Like you are going to sound so stupid and I mean, I don't know. It's the anger that always makes me feel weird.
I don't think I've ever been angry at a flat earther. Concerned, yes. Amused, definitely. But angry? No. Anyway, the boys move on to curvature.
It's crazy. I was on a flight the other day and pilot goes, we're about 300 miles from the airport. We'll be descending in about 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, 500 miles an hour, 300 miles, 20 minutes. We're going to go about 175 miles. 125 miles from the airport is going to start descending. And so they calculate from 125 miles out how many feet per minute they need to drop to get to the airport. That calculation is a flat earth calculation. And if they don't put in curvature, he's going to be 2 miles too high when he gets to the airport.
I've never heard such nonsense in all my life. A plane is constantly adjusting its altitude to maintain a consistent path relative to the Earth's surface. Now that means as it descends, it follows the curve of Earth. The descent into an airport is a descent relative to that already constant altitude adjustment. Essentially, the path of descent does account for Earth's curve. But let's remember, as always, the Earth is not the size of a potato.
That's what the data says. That's how they do it. And it would be at 125 miles, he'd be 2 miles above the airport, unless he factored in the extra 2 mile drop in 125 miles.
Which they do.
Yeah, man. It's like even like the visuals of what it would look like. They can make a CGI model, and it would, if it was actually that ball, it would look nothing like what you see in a plane. What do you think? You think they just don't do those models, or you think they all just subconsciously don't? How do people not see that? You know what I mean? Like, if you have the ability of doing a CGI model of what it would look like, let's say you're doing ballistics or any of these big engineering things, you would see it doesn't look like that. Like it would be revealed in your model. How do they not see that?
Let's coherently construct a question first before we answer it. Hey, Owen?
What do you think they do?
Yeah, Dave doesn't get it either, Owen. Look at him.
Does that make sense? Like if you're designing a long-range missile, they don't factor in the spin of the curve. How do they design a model with a flat plane without admitting that to themselves?
Well, they obviously don't, Owen, do they? Because the Earth is not a flat plane. Flipping heck.
The excuse they give is the Earth is so big that it's inconsequential. They think over 100 miles, oh, the Earth is so big, there's really, you don't have to factor for it. They don't really think about it. People their minds are lazy. They're like, well, you don't have to figure it because it works. Therefore, you don't have to calculate for it.
Aircraft altitude is measured relative to the Earth's surface. And because the Earth is curved, a plane's altitude is adjusted to remain consistent with that surface, which is a curved reference. That is not hard to understand, Dave.
Therefore, because it's a globe, it works, so you're wrong, Weiss. That's how they
it's circular reasoning. I mean, they teach logic fallacies. It's like, assuming I'm right, therefore I'm right. It's like the given is that they're already right, and they've never proved the globe.
No, the given is that the Earth being spherical is an established fact. Therefore, it's correct.
The globe is a fact, so 'tis globe. That's their reasoning. It's 'tis globe. That's all they say.
Yes. You know what fact means, right, Dave? It's like me saying, Owen is wearing a shirt in his video. That is a fact. Therefore, it's correct.
And to this day, it's still my biggest thing people use to try and discredit me. That I can make a great point. They're like, well, you think the Earth's flat, so nothing you say matters. And I'm just like,
Well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I will take each stance you have on a topic on its own merit. But you think the Earth is flat, so your stance on a particular topic is more likely to be guff and beans, isn't it? Now, Owen then moves on to the moon landing.
The best.
Yeah, I mean, I think the moon landing's dead though at this point. What do you think?
The moon landing, even Joe Rogan is flipping back on that one, which is interesting.
Oh, well, there we go, everyone. A UFC commentator and podcaster is flipping back to thinking that the moon landing was not real and didn't happen. Therefore, it didn't happen. Amazing.
He used to be the guy, and then he flipped after he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, and now he's questioning it again. Check this out. I talked about this. This is Nixon talking to the guys on the moon, and let me just fast forward here. But while he's talking to them, over here on the wall, we have this picture, right? And so we're like, how does he have a picture that they took on the moon while he's talking to the guys that just landed on the moon?
Now, I'm sure Dave knows why here. This is not a photo taken from the surface of the moon. It was taken from Apollo 8, 7 months earlier. Not inconceivable to think that he would have a monumental photo like that on his wall.
So the Globe trolls come back and say, oh, that was Apollo 8. That was the one that just went around the moon. Okay. So here is the Apollo 8 picture. So you have this, and then here's the actual picture, right? So they want you to believe that Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Now they have the little window, and it has to protect them from the Van Allen radiation belt. So how thick is that window?
Each window in the Apollo 8 service module was made from 110mm thick layers of tempered silica glass, each separated by 2.5mm. Each pane also had an anti-reflective coating and a blue-red reflective coating on the inner surface.
I'd say thicker than a window on a regular jet plane, right? I was on a plane, and you take a picture through the window, you've got glare, you've got distortion. The guy took the picture out the window that can protect them from the Van Allen radiation belts, got this picture of Earth. Now I'm going to compare it to the one that they actually supposedly took on the moon. Ready? That. So that's the one they took on the moon. And this is the one they took orbiting the moon through thick glass while flying. It just happens to be equally as sharp, equally as good.
Oh dear. Your second picture, this one, is the Apollo 11 Earthrise, also taken from the window of the service module as they orbited the moon. Amazing, absolutely amazing that you think this was taken from the surface of the moon. This image is the Earth taken from the surface of the moon.
Now I have to ask you a question. Is this me playing around with Photoshop, or is this the Japanese filming the moonrise, the Earthrise?
Oh, is that what they're claiming?
This is from the JAXA filming the Earthrise. How stupid is that?
So stupid.
How stupid is that?
Well, you think it looks stupid, but most of us don't. It was again taken from the orbit of the moon. Just because you think something looks stupid, it does not mean it didn't happen.
Yeah, the Asians are trying to get on board. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't think so. The lunar orbiter that took that short film was Selene, launched in 2007. Japan's been an active space-going nation for over 20 years.
I want to show you another one since we're talking about the moon real quick. So this is, you've seen where they measure the shadows, right? The shadow. Now look, the sun is over there and his shadow's going that way, right? And so he goes to the right there, and we're just going to pan to the right. We're panning to the right a little bit. And when we get over to where he is, his shadow is now going away. It's going that way, right? And then we pan to the right a little farther, just a little farther, and his shadow is reverse directions. It's reverse directions.
So funny.
Right?
What? You can clearly see that camera is rotating on an axis, changing its direction of view each time. That's why the shadow is moving. Look, you even show it changing angle as it's moving. This is very disingenuous, Dave.
So, but watch this. This is in the middle. And so watch his visor right here. You see those two reflections, those two lights? You'll see two, and then when he turns his head, you'll see two more. So there's the two, right? There's two lights, 1, 2. And then when he turns, you'll see a reflection of two more. Ready? Here it comes. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So is that something like this? Is that what's going on?
No, that is not what is going on. So, just for a second, there's no chance at all that the sun is also reflecting off the lunar lander, or passing through the visor and reflecting on the other side of it. It's a convex piece of material after all. My point is, that could be anything. Now, Dave goes on to moan about how satellite internet shouldn't work on planes, but then Owen asks one of the most amazing questions I've ever heard. And by amazing, I mean awful.
I think so too, Matt. I had that theory. How do you think they're doing it? How do you think that because I mean, we are getting an incredible amount of data now anywhere we go. Like you can go to the middle of nowhere with a Starlink and get the fastest internet you've ever seen. Do you think it's ionized air? Like it's an actual cloud, like the iCloud is like a cloud?
That is right. Owen Benjamin, with a serious face, asked if the iCloud is an actual cloud. I'll let that one sink in for a minute. Right, on we go.
You know, there could be technology that we're not even fathoming, but you know, if you look at the idea of satellites, which is stupid, airplanes are way better. They have power sources. They're everywhere. They're closer. They can be, you know, fixed and upgraded. Where satellites just floating in stupid fake space. So I think that we're just, satellite phones and Starlink are just connecting to either it could be a military tower. There's military towers all over the place. It connects to that, or it hits an airplane and the airplane links it to the nearest tower. And then once you hit the ground tower, you're connected.
Listen to these two fumble through potential reasons why we get internet in the middle of nowhere. Starlink, for example, currently has 7,000 satellites orbiting this planet. 7,000! They're being launched weekly by SpaceX. And you two come up with a theory that it's some giant military tower. I am sometimes just bemused that people actually follow you two and listen to what you have to say. It's mind-blowing. Well, there we go, everyone. I'm going to leave it there. Another Flat Earth Friday, all done and dusted, all wrapped up. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see the rest of this interview, and I'll do my best to sit through it and make another video. But for now, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed it, please do hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up button as well. It will be hugely appreciated. Just enough time to once again thank Ground News for sponsoring today's video. Remember, go to ground.news/Simon to stay fully informed on breaking news, compare coverage and avoid media bias. Sign up for free or subscribe through my link for 50% off, and that's for the unlimited access if you want to support the mission and find it as useful as I do. I've been Simon Dan, have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Saturday session. See you then. Bye bye.